I'm gonna go get my drink.
Yes, please.
All right, so I guess we could just...
If you give them no attention, it makes their time out here not even worth it.
It's fine. I'm okay with having healthy conversations. It's fine.
All right, I'm not sure if you want to like state your name or anything like that. No.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I can say my name.
Okay, sure.
Karen Carrillo.
All right, so if you don't know what this is, it's kind of talk about with people, one-on-one situation. That's why I have another chair, but
No, it's okay.
kind of just to promote productive dialogue and kind of get your view on things, my view on things, and yeah. So I'm pro-life, and then changed my mind.
I don't know about changing your mind, because like you said earlier, it's like beating a dead horse. It's more like I want to hear more of you, because I'll be transparent. I barely hear from you guys. It's more like I stand what I believe in, and I don't really like seek the other side, because it's like, no, I believe passionately with what pro-choice means. So
Okay.
I just like, if you want to start first, maybe I'll address some points, but it's more like me hearing you out.
Okay, so pro-choice, as in being just more pro-abortion, right? Because I feel like there's many other choices, but abortion.
Pro-choice for me means doing whatever you want with your body.
Okay, so my next question was, when does the baby become not your body?
Can you like explain that a little
So the baby's inside you, of course, right? As you know, pregnancy furthers. So when does it not become of your body if you think the fetus is a part of your body?
I definitely think that's more of a personal decision. I don't want to speak and then act like I'm speaking for all women.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Okay, well, let's just go for you. I'm not gonna hold
then
you.
I just want to say that. Wait, hold on. I just want to make that clear. Like I'm really speaking based on my beliefs and my. And actually, if you wouldn't mind, do you mind if I also just recorded?
Yeah, you're fine.
Thank you. Let's see. I'm gonna just set my phone down.
Okay, that works.
So basically, for me, if there's already a beating heart, then I wouldn't abort my child.
Okay.
If there isn't a beating heart, then yes, I definitely think I have safe sex. I really do. Like I do all the precaution measurements that I need to do in order to not get pregnant and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not for every woman. Other women, like, even if there is a heart beating, like, they'll abort their child.
Yeah.
And that's totally up to them.
Well, yeah, majority of Americans believe that. They don't believe
and I respect their decisions, because at the end of the day, it's like, it's none of my business, and it's not going to affect me in any kind of way.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess it's just, for my personal statement, it's like, once there's a heart beating, it's a living child.
Then it's a separate.
Yeah, and I probably would reconsider not aborting.
Yeah, I see what you mean with that. I mean, if I would have, I don't think it's I think when, all right, I think it's a separate life at conception, since that's when it has its own DNA. It's DNA from the mother and the father. It's turned into one. And then it also has its own DNA. It's going to have its own hair type. It's going to have its own blood type. It's going to have the basic outline of how it's going to grow up as. So it's like, I feel like that's the only part which makes the most sense on where life begins. Anywhere after that could also be applied to fully developed human beings. So I think that's kind of where I would disagree. And yeah, I'm be honest, this is my first time doing this. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it right.
Honestly, you guys are doing so good. Like,
yeah, I feel like,
you guys do it so good. I'm like, they had to have done debate or something, because you guys have a really good composure and stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to clarify though, like, I do get passionate. It might sound aggressive, but I'm like not trying to be at the same time. But
well, I feel like on this
appreciate
topic particular, it's more passionate. Like on other topics like gun control, stuff like that, like it's not as compassionate. But something on this is a very touchy subject, and you don't see too many people talking about it because how touchy it is. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do out here too.
Right.
But not sure how well this is gonna go.
No, it's okay. Why
Well, I feel like we don't have the right. So like, we don't have the right to kill another human being. And if my definition of human being starts at conception, then that's why I'm against it. You know, I feel like that's like an actual baby. It's there. It's alive. It has its own DNA. Science really does support that life begins at conception.
Right. Okay. I maybe want to touch on. So earlier, you guys speaking about there's choices like adoption and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. You know, the foster care, the adoption center. It's like people only care about the life before it's born, but then after it's like nobody really cares about it.
Yeah, so I wouldn't advocate just to like send all your kids to adoption centers. If I would really give my view on it, I feel.
Oh my god! Did I do that?
I don't. I think I did it. I think I pulled it. You want to stand right here and hold it?
No, it was the wind.
No,
I know.
All right. So yeah, I wouldn't advocate for like adoption and all that. What I would really wish, like we can't really push this into like law or anything like that, is that I feel like we've been turned into a society where we don't get married, we don't have one partner, we kind of just go around and we kind of just do whatever we want. We just want to have fun, basically. And I'm heavily against that. I feel like we should find someone. It's called making love, so it's like it should be sacred between someone that you love, someone that you want to be with for the rest of your life, and you shouldn't take the risk of being pregnant until you're financially stable, until you want a kid, until you have your career. I feel like that's why kids are going into poverty. People aren't waiting to have sex. Like my I don't know if you heard my dad earlier. He had me when he was like 15. Like if you look at the majority of the brackets, I should have been. We should have been heavily on welfare, heavily on everything, but my dad, found a good job, and I feel like everyone's not so lucky. So I feel like we should see what the root cause is. It not having an abortion, or is it having sex out of wedlock and kind of just having a lot of kids?
Can you love more than one person in your life?
As in like relationship wise?
Yeah. Like not at the same time.
Yeah.
Just like throughout your life, can you love more than one person?
Sure. Yeah, it is pretty.
I'll get behind that.
Yeah, it is pretty hot.
Would you like a fan?
I feel like going through life, I feel like you should wait to find like the one. I feel like people, I wouldn't say like give it up easy, but that's how it is. They get in relationships after a month. They start doing the deed. They don't really know that person, and then they fall in love, and then they start to know that person, and then that's how people become separated. And then it kind of just goes from there. So I think you should definitely wait to have sex with someone, know them fully, build a relationship with them, and then kind of get married. Like the average age to get married now is like in the late 30s. Before it was like 21 for women, 25 for men.
Yeah, and I think we can agree, I think we have the same concept of what love means, maybe, knowing your person and feeling a connection and stuff like that. So I guess I feel like my answer is still not an answer, because I feel like humans don't sometimes know better. You think you have such a person, you really think you know them and stuff like that. Next thing you know, it's like they're not who they say they are. And sometimes you find out 20 years down the line. Sometimes even 30 years down the line. Sometimes you find out early. In most cases.
Yeah, I wouldn't put complete blame on the person for just choosing the wrong person, but sometimes you just gotta kind of really evaluate who you might be with before finding out. But then again, there could be cases like you're saying 20 years down the line, you find out who they really are.
Right. So you don't think people should be having sex for fun?
No, because I know people keep bringing up like separation of church and state, but my Christianity beliefs put in that sex is a sacred thing. That's something that should be up there on the totem pole. But right now,
I don't think that's the point. I think it's I don't know if this will answer your question. I understand that people have a lot of partners and a lot of different loves in their lifetime, but it's like there are a lot of parents that have divorced because they found out 30 years down the line, and they now have kids and they're separated, and some kids are still happy with their divorced parents, or going back and forth, or some kids are adopted, and it's like there's 25 parents that want to adopt for every kid that's born. So I understand what you're saying, but it's just the fact that if a lot of the abortions are because their other person is not fit, or because the dad doesn't want the kid, or because the dad is unfit to be a father. But it's like, if you are with somebody that is unfit, you should not be having sex with them. I understand that people have kids and then later along the line they're not in love anymore and they divorce. That's very understandable and that's very okay. But the point still is that you got pregnant with somebody that you love and once loved. You know what I mean? So obviously without knowing if the person is not who they say they are, you're still having a kid with somebody that you did love at a point, and your kid is still in a loving home until you divorce. So I just don't think, if you are not in love, or you do not at least think the person is a good person, why are you having sex with them? Or if they're unfit to be a parent, or you guys are broke as fuck, I don't think you should.
Earlier, I think I heard you make a statement, probably not verbatim, but you said, what is the goal to even having sex, and it's to reproduce,
Yeah.
right? So I'm a believer, to an extent, of course. God makes no mistakes, right? That's probably like something that you guys say in church or whatever. God makes no mistakes. So do people who just can't reproduce, like who are infertile, like do they get a pass? Like are they free to like do sex? Is that a different conversation?
Like, are you saying like?
Well, I mean, I think the fact that people are infertile is what makes it so sad that there's women that can take advantage of pregnancies and kill babies over 1 million just in the United States a year, and there's women that would do anything to have children. There's women that constantly have miscarriages because their fertile system is fucked up, and I think that's so sad that women take advantage of killing babies, and there's women that would kill to have babies. I don't think that's right. And those women that are infertile are women that would adopt and that, you know, could have a chance to have a child. So, yeah. But is it a pass? I don't necessarily know.
I wouldn't label it as a pass. I think it's more of like something that, you know, is sad. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure they would want to have kids. They don't want to just have sex just to have sex.
And I don't think it's a pass, but I don't think it's a blessing either. I wouldn't call it a
Yeah.
pass. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah.
No, it's because I feel like the argument was kind of empty because there is women who can't reproduce, you know?
Yeah.
So like to say like, oh, sex is meant to reproduce, it's like, it's not the case for a lot of women.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know, I just felt like it was an empty argument, but it's fine, we can move on. Crap, oh my god, you guys just made like a lot of points, and I just wanted to address them too, but I'm going kind of empty right now.
No, yeah, it happens.
Crap. Well, then I might come back, I don't know.
Yeah, we're probably going to be here the whole time, just trying to wait. I mostly wanted to get someone to sit down just to show that, like, I don't know. I feel like that proves, like, oh yeah, we're like kind of more civil type thing.
Right.
But I think a lot of people think I'm coming here with like bad intentions, like trying to like start drama or.
I mean, that's a stigma.
Yeah. Like that guy. I don't know. He went.
That guy was scary.
I thought he was gonna genuinely hit. I thought he was a part of you guys who was like gonna hit me type thing, and I was like, oh.
I was so confused. I went back and like, do you guys just know what just happened? Because I don't know what just happened.
I thought that was pretty unique. But like, that's why I think we should like avoid. Like, why are we saying like, oh, I despise these people because of their beliefs? It could be like more of a misconception. Like, I feel like a lot of people think here a poll has shown that a lot of people think because Roe v. Wade is going to get overturned, it's going to be illegal everywhere, which is just like false.
No, it's not going to be illegal everywhere, but there's nothing else precedent.
I think I mean, because I'm pro-life, of course I want to be like against that.
Yeah, but like, don't you think it will? And that's why a lot of people feel like their rights are being threatened, and that's why we're out here in California doing this too?
I think this kind of like goes back to like, do you have the constitutional right to an abortion, which I think is false. I think the whole Roe v. Wade case was heavily flawed. They protected under the 14th Amendment, which is the patient-doctor privacy between a procedure. And I guess if you label abortion a procedure, then I see how it falls under. But depending on who you're asking, I feel like that's not a medical procedure. I feel like that's, you know, killing a baby, of course.
Right. Well, I know like every state will probably set their own precedent once if it is overturned.
Yeah.
I just think it will also just set a lot of things. Like before Roe versus Wade, you could easily get pressed charges if you had a C-section or if you needed a C-section. Some people want a C-section, and someone from the outside who probably is irrelevant could literally sue you. Or also, what are the other things? It's a C-section. It's miscarriages. If you have a real accidental miscarriage, you can also be charged for that.
It keeps on changing it.
And I think those precedents that can be set and can be brought back is what's also threatening. It's like, it's not even the women who are even pro-choice. It's also these women who are just like, well, fuck. Like, I had a miscarriage and I can easily catch a case.
I feel like that's something that's been like kind of like misseen in the media. I do see people advocating for that, but I think that's completely like absurd. Like, if a woman having a miscarriage isn't the same as having a willingly abortion, or like how people were saying that like how people wanted to like want the mother to die but keep the baby because the baby's like so pro-life. I feel like that's another thing pro-lifers don't really do. I feel like what stance that majority of us are at is you shouldn't have the right to kill an threat to your life, okay, yeah, you should have that procedure to make sure you're still living. Like, I agree. Or a miscarriage. Of course, it's an accident. Mothers grieve with miscarriages.
Yeah.
There's tons of people that I know that have miscarriages and grieve because of it. And then, what was the other point you made?
I think that was C-section.
Oh, C-section. Again, I don't see any serious policies going in place where it's going to make C-sections illegal. Another thing I think too is also charging the mothers. Me and a ton of other conservatives that I know that are like up there, that are pretty famous, they don't want to charge the women. They want to charge the doctors that are profiting from this, that are performing those C-sections, that are, or not C-sections, abortions, that are misinforming the women. Because what it is women, when women don't think that unborn child is a child or a human life, then they don't see anything wrong with an abortion. I feel like we should, and charging them isn't going to make their mind changing.
No.
So I think we should really tell them like, hey, like this is a human life, kind of like, I want to say educate, but educate them on it. Like, hey, this is where human life begins. This is all the studies done by it. This isn't a Christian view. It's a Christian view backed by science. So it's like being more informed will help deteriorate a lot more abortions, I think, as well.
Great. What's your opinion on the idea of women, if Roe versus Wade were to be overturned, women being obligated to have the child, but the father leaving?
Well,
shouldn't they also be obligated to also take care of that child?
Yeah, I was just waiting for the beep to go by. Okay, so that's like another thing I hear a lot is kind of like, why isn't the father held accountable? Which I do. I hold the father accountable. I don't think the father should be able to like just leave the child, no child support. And there are laws in place where even if the father does leave, he still has to provide financial support.
Yeah.
But me personally, I don't think financial support is enough. I feel like a child, in order for it to be a successful child, needs to have a loving father figure or a mother figure, or father figure, father figure and mother figure in the home to kind of grow up and kind of like really develop without having anything,
Oh my god.
Would you like to sit down?
Okay then. Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I feel like having those two key factors hit a child a step further in life than a child with neither of those. So yeah, I hold the father accountable completely.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just not the case in a lot of situations.
Yeah, which goes back to like my thing of like hookup culture in this society, which is pushed by the left, and I feel like that's something that we need to steer away from, because when the mother and when the dad and the father and the mother are married, they're more likely to stay together throughout the child's life, and I feel like that really helps the child, and that kind of is a social construct that we need to break.
I don't know, and it's like, I know you never know people, like you just never know, but it's like, we aren't married, but if I had a kid and we did break up or he cheated on me, I still know that he is a great person and that he would care for my child just as much as I would, which is my choice to be with a man that I know has good morals and is a good human being. Even if he didn't one day decided he didn't love me anymore, I still know that he'd be a great father to my kid. You know what I mean? So like, it's just, I guess people choose the wrong person in majority cases.
What age do you guys think we should be promoting safe sex?
I think safe sex, so like, I know in schools a lot, I mean not in California at least, but in other states they don't really do sex education, but I think that's something the parents should be willing to teach their kids, like you teach your kids good moral values, like my dad taught me. Yeah, which goes back to the fact where we promote kind of marriage, we kind of promote a family that's a good family home, basically.
Yeah, but don't you agree, like maybe you just can't undo the damage that's already been done? We should be setting a precedent for maybe today's generation.
Yeah.
Like, what's done is done. Like there's children now today that don't have both their parents.
Yeah.
That were never talked or taught about sex, where sex, to the point that it's so sacred, like how you guys are explaining, because trust me, I had a very religious Catholic mother who never spoke to me about sex, and I'm sure it's because she thought that the minute she promoted it or started talking about it, I would be more intrigued. I would want to do it. But because she never taught me and stuff like that, I didn't get raised with her beliefs either. I was just taught like sex is bad, you'll go to hell for it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's important
Yeah, I'm not advocating against it at all.
I believe like it would reduce the percentage of
I think,
people who are having unsafe sex.
yeah, and then the age, I would say like, I mean, I had it here in here at Fresno. I went to Fresno High. It was freshman year. They kind of talked about it. They taught birth controls, how to use condoms.
Do you think we should be doing it earlier? There's girls saying now we're having a period
I
at
was taught
10.
in 6th grade.
Huh?
I was taught in 6th grade.
Yeah, and do you agree with that? 6th grade?
I don't think there's an age for safe sex. I think safe sex is when you are in a person that you feel safe with. It's when I guess you are ready and you are ready for the consequences of having a pregnancy.
Maybe that's something that they can teach in sex ed, right?
Yeah.
Because
If they would teach more of like kind of like, okay, abortion isn't just like a plan B where you could kind of, fall back on. I think if they teach like, hey, like they taught sex was more sacred and you shouldn't go hooking up with anything, I feel like that would be a better curriculum than kind of, saying like, hey, here's all these things, you guys can go ahead and have sex. Like, if anything worst comes to happen, you guys can go have an abortion at Planned Parenthood. I feel like stuff like that shouldn't be promoted,
Okay, what do you think about Plan B though?
Plan B.
Plan B is before conception, so it is okay.
That's why it's up.
like a contraceptive to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I see a lot of the people of the GOP also going against banning that, and I think those people are misinformed. Honestly, I feel like.
You can say it.
I'm like, because I'm listening. Don't get me wrong, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But I also need clarification. So you guys would care if people had safe sex as long as they took Plan B? Because I mean, it's before contraception, so.
So I think we should. So I think we could take like a ladder step on here. So I feel like the first thing, if you don't want to have an unwanted pregnancy, the number 100% effective is just abstinence. If you're not willing to do that, which I don't think everyone will do that, but I think then you should be ready. If you have sex, there's a risk that comes with that, and that's pregnancy. And you know that having sex, I want to say basically everybody knows what sex produces, and if you have that risk, you should. If you take that risk and you still take precautions against it and you get pregnant, I think you should deal with the consequences of having sexes, which is a baby.
Okay. I keep coming up with maybe crazy hypotheticals. I don't know. What about the women who were told they maybe have a 1% chance of getting pregnant, and they've literally just been having sex because it's they've never gotten pregnant.
Yeah.
And then that 1% chance happens, and now they're pregnant, and it's well, fuck.
Yeah, I think that would go back to them. They took the risk. They knew sex, even if it's a very slim chance.
That's a hard question. I feel like
pregnancy
everybody has different opinions about that. Because if I had a 1% chance of getting pregnant as somebody that wants kids, and I was freely having sex and I didn't think about it, and I ended up getting pregnant, I would see it as a blessing. Like, fuck, I had 1% chance and I am pregnant. I'm going to take advantage of this. But obviously for women that don't want kids, it'd be very different. So I can't speak for all women.
You make a point. I think that's all of it. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the conversation.
no
Thank you so
problem.
much.
And again, if you run into anybody, be like, hey, they're not trying to get gotcha moments. It's not, trying to
We're
incite
not being
violence.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
We genuinely want to hear your guys'
Yeah.
Are you guys part of an organization or something?
No, I'm doing this all by myself. I got into politics about a year and a half ago during quarantine, and I kind of just ran with it. This idea originated from a YouTuber that I watch all the time named Steven Crowder. He basically does that, and so I was thinking hey, why can't I do it? That'd be fun. And I also want to be a lawyer, so this kind of politics stuff kind of intrigues me.
I would have never thought of myself.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
proud of you.
But I think we should try and just all talk as Americans. Why can't we just sit down and talk? That's why I got chairs here and kind of
Right.
I'm really trying to promote that for the most part.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, stay safe. And
All right.
have a good rest of your day.
I appreciate it. What was your name again?
Karen.
All right, nice to meet you. My name's Solon.
Nice to meet you.
All right, have a good day. How far is the walk?